Well, hello, everybody. It's your buddy, Dennis and Andy with another movie review and a few. What? It's Thursday? You're doing one? Yes, we are. A movie dropped last week on Netflix. I saw the trailer a couple weeks ago and I told Dennis, I said, dude, you got to see this. Um, Watched it over the weekend. He's watched it twice, one by himself and one with his wife. And the movie is written and directed by the stand-up comedian Bill Burr, and it's on Netflix, and it's called Old Dads.
Yep, the Old Dads. Like I said, it's Netflix. It is rated R, so be aware because it's got some language. There's no violence, no nudity, things like that. They're just jokes that may or may not offend you.
It's just saying the F word more than once. That's all it takes. Oh, you said it twice. R rating.
Yeah, and the C word. The between
you're right.
And the N word. So I mean, there are a few words in there. So but
Dennis, being around you all the time, when it comes to the C word and the N word, it just doesn't faze me anymore because of your mouth. Yeah. So the F word, though, those I recognize and count. The other ones just are like second nature, when we're driving someplace.
Yeah, whatever. Three best friends become fathers late in life, and they find themselves battling preschool principals, millennial CEOs, and basically anything that was created after 1987.
So
this is going to be spoiler free because there's not a lot to spoil because everything we would is basically jokes. But there were so many things that were on point.
Who played the other two dads?
So Bill Burr is the main dad, and then Bobby Cannavale is really another one of his best friends, and we all know him from like Ant-Man and stuff like that. Bokeem Woodbine, he's interesting because you will recognize him immediately, and I love him. But I was like trying to think of what was the big standout role he had. He's like a background in like everything. He's like a background character.
And the thing with him is the first role I remember seeing him in a few years back was a season of Fargo on FX. And, I don't know if the guy, I've seen him in so many roles like you, he has hair, he doesn't have hair. So I don't know if this was his real hair in Fargo, but it was, it was a period piece. So it was a little more, throwed out or whatever, not huge, but anyhow. And the point is and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm used to seeing this guy play a bad guy or drama.
Yeah. Right. And but he's always in something as something else. He's never one of the main leads. He's got charisma. He was great in this. Bill's wife is played by Katie Aselton, and we all know her as Vaginal Hubris Jenny from The League. And we loved her in that show. We love that show. So
it was nice seeing her do something because I haven't seen her really since The League. I'm sure she's been doing stuff, but she hasn't lost a step. I guess the biggest thing we can talk about in this movie is performances and just, the overall story. So I guess we'll do that first. The overall story is these three guys, Bill Burr, he's got two kids. Bokeem, I can't remember. I already forgot his name.
Bokeem.
He is divorced. His son, I think he has two kids. You don't even see him because they're in their 20s, but he's dating, I don't know, a woman that looks like, 15 years younger, and they're just dating. And then the other friend has a little boy. Obviously, he's married, but he's pee-whipped from his wife. I mean, she just runs the roost. And these three guys started a company. They sold the company. And the big gist, like Dennis says, is, these guys are all like Dennis and our age. We're talking mid 40s, early 50s. And they're just not used to all this PC garbage. And if you ever watch Bill Burr stand up, you get it. I mean, you could tell he wrote this movie.
Yeah. So if you're a fan of Bill Burr's, it is just dead on point with the humor, and he didn't hold a lot back. He did it for the movie script, not like his stand-up, but he had some really hard-hitting points that were in it, and almost everything to me landed. It was funny. A lot of things that we recognize there, we recognize in the change in our society today. It was funny. They've got the scooter, and there's a kid swerving around on the scooter in the middle of the road, and he's getting angry at him and stuff and yelling like, seriously, don't you do anything? Andy and I were on our way to go eat after the live stream last night. There's a kid on a mini bike, on a dirt bike on the main road, popping wheelies, swerving all over the road, doing stuff. And my immediately thought was, oh my God, that is exactly what what he's talking about. And we literally experienced it real time. But the whole point of, they sold their company because the wife, Leah, she wanted him to sell it so that they could have extra money to send her kid to a private school because public schools are bad. And
this is LA, so
right. So then they bring in Miles Robbins, who plays Aspen, and he's this hotshot new young millennial manager who's, he's had 15 different CEO management jobs in the last however many years, and that's something to be proud of. And it just starts off great. It does.
It really does. And so basically, there's not much to spoil except jokes, and we don't want to do that because I think they all land. Now, 80% of the jokes are stuff talking about this new generation and stuff. And the one thing I like about the movie is, and I was really curious, Dennis was going to try and see if his daughter wanted to watch it too, who's in her mid-20s. And I was hoping she would, to get her feedback on like the jokes and stuff, because they're really aimed at her generation and above. She couldn't watch it, just didn't line up right, whatever. But I would like to think people of, young people today, God, it sounds so old when you say it like that. I'd like to think if they watch this movie, they might even see some of the absurdity to what's going on today, because they're looking at it kind of outside in instead of doing it daily and not really cognitively being like, hey, what's coming out of my mouth? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It does. And, even the things like parenting styles, the one, Connor is the one played by Bobby. Connor and his wife, they've got a kid who's like all over the place, screams and hits other kids with sticks and stuff like that. And they're like, you need to apologize for that. And all the kid wants to do is scream. And the mother's like, no. You let him let out his inner emotions. And the kid sits there and screams and whips sticks and does stuff. And you're like, oh yeah, that kid would have been in so much trouble. But it shows the different parenting styles within the same age groups. And, again, it just hits on so many levels. There was a couple of great cameos in there we will tell you about without spoiling anything. C. Thomas Howell, I haven't seen him in a while.
Oh my God.
Ed Cameron. Yes. It was great. He's only in it for a little bit, but it was fun seeing him again. And then he's an Uber driver. Bruce Stern makes an appearance, and he becomes like the crotchety old man that Bill Burr would be, if he looking back at what he said.
Yeah.
It was great.
I mean, you're just seeing them converse, and Bill Burr's in the front seat. The other two guys, his friends, are in the back. And you can just see this. And I think his character in the movie sees it too, that, oh my God, this is where I could end up, not in life, but personality wise. I got that glimmer that he got that from.
Yeah. I think, and then they go out and have their night of reflection, and then, like you said, all three of them are becoming new dads and stuff like that going down there. It wraps it up nice. There's a lot of tension between Bill Burr and the head of the private school that his kid's going to. That was really good. The dynamics between all the different players in the movie worked. I actually really enjoyed pretty much everything about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's CGC this puppy then. No more waiting around. You took the jump last week first, so
Yep.
I'll do it this week. I am giving this movie a 9.0. I really enjoyed it. I'm a comedy guy. I love good comedies. I especially love good comedies that push it and aren't PC. And this even goes, look, believe it or not, in the 80s, there were non-PC comedies for that time period. Always loved that stuff. I thought the performances were great. Bill was great. Bokeem, just once again, never really seen him in a comedy. He was fantastic. Bobby was, the whole cast. So there you go, guys, 9.0.
Wow, bit surprised there. Good to hear. I'm not that far off. I thought I was going to be higher than you. I'm giving this an 8.5. I also thought it was really good. I wound up watching it a second time so my wife could watch it, and honestly, I enjoyed it just as much the second time. So this is one of those films that struck enough of a chord where I guess I can rewatch it. So, IMDb, let me see. They are at a 6.3. And even a point lower. I usually say it's about a point and a half lower. It's still a little under us. And my gut feeling is Rotten Tomatoes, I'm going to pull it up, is I bet the critics hate it and I bet the audience loves it. It's just that type of a movie. And Rotten Tomatoes, do we have a score? We do. Rotten Tomatoes. Critics give it a 24%. And the audience gave it an 88.
Oh, right in between us again.
Right in between us. So,
guys, you don't need to look at those websites. Just watch us. We will not steer you wrong.
We're usually in the ballpark on what most of the audience thinks. We rarely are in with the critics. I mean, you've got to enjoy humor. You got to enjoy this type of humor. And critics today, they don't have that ability. If something doesn't perk along a certain way, they just destroy it. And yeah. I think that's a shame. But anyway, guys, I think most of you will really enjoy this movie. I think we agree with the audience. So go out and take a peek at it.
That's right. You'll enjoy it as much as the little in-between project before Core Draft Volume 2, Nice and Tight, the comic pencil art of Andy Smith. What is that, you ask, Dennis? Well, for people that love comic books and comic book art, one of the steps they never really get to see at all, and unfortunately is going away because there's not many penciler inker teams anymore. But back when I was doing comics, mainstream and stuff, I only got to ink my work a few times. 80% of the time I had to do full pencils, mail them to the inker, and the inker would go over and embellish and hopefully add a little finesse to the work. This book is a peek behind the curtain, 52 pages of my pencils coming at you. High resolution, oversized book, stapled so you can lay it flat if you'd like to scan the pages to practice your own inking. The sign-up page is what we're looking at. Sign up so you know when it goes live. If you sign up and buy, you get a limited edition trading card that comes with it. So give it a sign up, get notified when it goes live. Stay here for all your updates. And I got to really come up with an outro for us. Usually it was the Core Draft trailer, but I don't have a trailer for this yet. So I guess, Dennis, you and I, well, we just had a dream. Bye-bye, everybody.